It's Pretty Like Kitty!
Pretty Kitty's Parkland, a beloved theme park with a unique charm that thousands of patrons would flock to if they were yearning for a pretty fantastic experience. All
like
with a cheerful
Kitty.
proclamation from their beloved mascot, It's Pretty Like Kitty. However, that all changed in July of 2004. Following a lawsuit on the heels of a gruesome incident within the park, resulting in the park closing its doors for good. While the patrons were left without fun times with their favorite feline, it was waves of employees laid off that were deeply impacted by this, especially Casey, the employee behind the mascot that brought smiles to all those that interacted with him. What happened to Casey could be described as a full-blown mental breakdown, but looking into the details, it could be the stuff of nightmares you only see in the minds of messed up individuals. Today, 21 years later, 21 years after its closure, we talked to some of the crew of Pretty Kitty to see how their lives were affected and what could have led to a mutilated mascot meltdown never seen before wait. Sorry, I'm getting a word from my producer. Yes, give me a second. What do you mean we couldn't get the employees? Code of silence? Then why are we here? A group of college graduates that made an animated short based on the events? Why is that significant? Oh, they won some awards for it. Fine. But if I don't get an Emmy nomination for investigative journalism, you'll be hearing from my agent. Sorry, let's get this thing off proper. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Pretty Kitty Crew Q&A, where you get to ask the incredible people behind the psychological horror mixed media animated short if they're okay. Genuinely, are you guys okay? Just starting off right at the bat.
No.
Yeah.
As
As good as I can be.
That's fair
Oh,
enough.
okay. I think I'm.
Hello, everyone. I am your host and moderator for the evening, Nathan Ragland, host of the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. Joining me today, I will run down the list. You guys can say hi along the way. But joining me in the call today, we have 3D tech lead Asher.
Hey.
We have 2D animator Emma.
Hello, I'm Emma.
We have producer Sierra.
Hi.
And we have director Corey.
Sup?
Just sup. Also, we will have art lead Force join in at some point during the call, but they have some other obligations that they need to take care of beforehand. With that, I don't think there's really much else when it comes to pretense and figuring out what we need to talk about this kind of stuff. Are you guys excited, both in the chat and in this call, to talk about Pretty Kitty?
Hey,
I am.
Hey, chat, can we get a Pretty Like Kitty? Can we get a Pretty Like Kitty? Can we do that, chat?
Can we get a Pretty Like Kitty? I see, I can't do the voice as well as you.
It's
That's
Pretty Like Kitty.
You got it. You got it.
Pretty Like Kitty, Pretty Like Kitty.
Pretty Like Kitty. We all chanted that in a Fun Production Fact 1. The Pretty Like Kitty chant from the third act of the film was, we were with another film, Animus, which is awesome. You should go check out the film Animus.
Okay.
And we invited them all into, like, the recording booth. And we all chanted that Pretty Like Kitty. Then we gave that to our sound designer, and they made it really good. And yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
So that was the Pretty Like Kitty chant was literally even the voice actor for Kitty was Pretty Like Kitty. We all just chanted, and I remember when I played the audio, we all thought it sounded so fucking weird.
Oh, yeah, no, it first sounded so weird on its own.
Yeah, that's
This
the fun
entire
production
film
part.
was weird.
Hey,
Yeah.
you agreed to work on it. This was your decision. Anyway, Post, I will let you do what you do best.
Well, thank you. I really do appreciate that. But honestly, Corey, I am going to need you to speak just a little bit longer because I at least wanted to start off right off the bat by asking, more or less how this thing even came to be. Because I don't think there's many people that would think of a concept anything remotely like this. So I'm wondering, especially for you, what was more or less the inspiration for Pretty Kitty? How did this unique, demented concept even come to be?
Oh boy. So, Pretty Kitty started as actually a short story that I had to write it for. I had to write a story for one of my classes. Was a it was a like story writing class, and you were required to take it. And the big project that you work towards is you have to write an original short story. So I talked about this in my eviction day behind the scenes, but typically I write my stories backwards. So when I get a story idea, it's usually the ending. So, and usually they're just spontaneous ideas. So I remember thinking of like the story of like, oh god, I gotta write a whole short story. I don't know what it's gonna be about. And I was laying in bed, I was staring up at the wall, and I don't know what happened, but I just suddenly, the final frame of Pretty Kitty, where Casey shows up sewn in the mascot costume, I just thought, guy shows up to work sewn into a mascot costume, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. How did we get there? And then
it's certainly a unique concept, like thinking, because I think I can speak for a lot of people. Whenever we think of mascot horror, that's usually not the route we think of.
Yeah, this is gonna sound weird. I'm actually not a big fan of mascot horror. I find
That's
a lot
valid.
of it to be like, what if Elmo had a knife? And I think that there's a lot of psychological things that could be played with, because every mascot is like played or created by somebody. And I've mentioned this before, but I base Kitty on a lot of like personal struggles of like I was gonna graduate soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dealing with this fear of like, what happens if I have to have a really terrible job I'm gonna hate forever, and I don't get to have fun in college anymore, and everything's gonna be terrible. Oh no! So I vented and made Pretty Kitty, and I gave the story to my teacher, and he said, "This is disgusting. This is demented. I loved it. Corey, aren't you an animator? You should make this into a short film." And I thought, okay. So when senior year comes around at our school, you get the opportunity to pitch a short film. So I decided, you know what? Why don't I just pitch it? And I did. I made a whole thing. I wore cat ears in the presentation, and I didn't think anyone would actually. Yet your pitch basically got thrown in with a bunch of other pitches, and the like top 14, I think, pitches for like hybrid films, because Kitty was always mixed media from the start, get picked.
Right.
And for some reason, people wanted to see Pretty Kitty. So.
I mean,
The reason was that it was awesome.
there you go. Yeah, no, I was gonna ask for the other members of the crew that are here in the call today or whatnot. Hearing that it was basically a pitch from the first start, what was it about that pitch that made you guys immediately want to be like, I don't care what it takes, I need to be a part of this?
Emma, you're gonna have a funny one to say about this.
Okay, well.
Let's Sierra and Asher say their part first. Because they were from the start,
Yeah, who
and
wants
then
to go
Emma.
first? Who wants to go first?
Asher,
Asher,
Sierra.
do you want to go first?
Okay. Well, I joined because I joined before I even heard the pitch.
Okay.
Because junior year, Corey and I had to work on a different short film together. And at the time, I was very happy with how he ran the ship, because we finished everything and the teacher was never yelling at us.
Interesting.
Sierra, you wanna go?
Me, my first year at our college, Corey sort of adopted me my first day of classes. So then I was already friends with Corey. And then at the meeting talking about the pitches, Corey's like, I have this idea. And I went, are you planning on using puppet rigs? Because I would really like to do puppet rigs. And they're like, yes, we're going to do puppet rigs to make things faster. And I'm like, okay, if I can rig stuff, I will join. And then also be the producer. So it
there you
worked
go.
out.
No, I mean, I can imagine it worked out, seeing again how puppet rigs were a major part, as well as obviously all the different other aspects of animation that were somehow melded and molded together to create this unique concept in the first place. And now, Emma, would you like to impart on what got you involved in it in the first place?
Oh yeah. So at the time during the pitches, there were a lot of different films to pick from, and I was kind of struggling on who to pick. I had kind of like talked to a couple different producers, but ultimately they seemed disinterested. And then kind of like one night, I was just kind of floundering about doing my homework, and I get this DM on Discord, and it's like, "Hey, I see that you I've heard that you like the horror genre." I'm like, "Yes, I do. I tend to dabble in it." It's like, "Well, I have a pitch that is completely based in horror," and I was like, "Okay, I'm listening." One thing led to another, and Corey kind of like got me on board with Pretty Kitty, and I was like, "Well, here I am now," and yeah, it was awesome.
So honestly, I don't blame you for being more or less brought into it or whatnot. And I mean, honestly, given the results that we got more than anything else, I think it was an experience well spent. I can only imagine for you guys, once you guys entered the madhouse that is Corey in the first place, there was no going back, whether you liked it or not.
Correct.
Or we'd fail.
Essentially, yeah.
We'd fail the class otherwise if there was going back.
I mean, that is true. That is true. But that being said, like, what was, now that you got the pitch out there, you got everything ready to go or whatnot, or at least that first concept, what was the first thing you guys even had to tackle? Because given all the different aspects, all the different elements that you had to do with telling the story or whatnot, looking at this, like looking back at the film, I wouldn't even know where you guys would have started when it came to this.
So fun fact.
Did
Oh,
we
sorry.
start with the storyboards?
Well, if we want to
Am I
talk
wrong with
about
that?
like, so for those longtime subscribers, if you saw Eviction Day was a test for Kitty. The secret's out. Because Eviction Day was like my first time really digging into like mixed media animation, and like I had like made Spam Tin out of paper cutouts. Like it was a test, and I need to get if I'm gonna make this movie, I need my comp skills to be like amazing. So Eviction Day was kind of the test, and then when I figured out how to like mix media stuff, it's like, okay, I'm ready to make Pretty Kitty. We did write the script. The script was first. The storyboards then came next, and then like a lot of planning. Sierra made the Asher, Sierra, if you want to talk about your pieces, because you did some really. I wish Forrest was here right now, but we'll get back to them later. But just designing everything, and then Sierra and Asher, if you want to just talk about what you did for your stuff.
You want to take it first, Sierra?
Well, the first thing I ever made was the mock-up of the Pretty Kitty hand puppet, which Corey has and uses in a lot of the videos to
Grab it
promote.
now. I'm holding it. I'm holding the little Pretty Kitty puppet. He went to
I'm
a
sorry.
Holland concert. It was so funny.
I was gonna say,
The
to cut in real
official
quick,
one I kept because the amount of hours, I just wanted to keep it for myself.
No, I don't blame you. I was gonna say, I remember, what was it? I think it was MomoCon this past year, or was it maybe even last year or whatnot? But I remember Corey having the little puppet. Like, you carry that thing around everywhere, and understandably so.
I crocheted that in one night.
Really?
Yeah, because Corey's like, hey, we should have a hand puppet in order to recruit people to join our film. And I went, sure. And then I realized how close the recruitment day was. So I had literally just one night, I just stayed up and I crocheted it as quickly as I could.
Well, I gotta say, I gotta commend you for your effort more than anything else. Because ironically enough, my stepmom does a lot of crocheting, and I know that's not really easy to focus on doing like a completed thing like that, no matter how big or how small. It's really hard to kind of do that even in one night. So
It's hard to do anything in one night, especially as an art project.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all off.
And then Asher, do you want to talk about your stuff?
Were you done, Sierra?
Well, I was gonna say the other thing
yeah.
was then we were working on with Forrest, who will join us later, was working on fixing up your original design of Casey. And then I was in charge of making sure it was gonna be riggable.
okay.
And it wasn't gonna be like too complex or anything.
Yeah, that you might want to make sure that is a thing that happens, because if you want this thing to work correctly, you kind of need to make sure it is riggable more than anything else.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, whenever you're planning for something in animation, you have to make sure it works.
Yep.
I mean,
So
yeah, Asher.
crazy concept. That was then my job, was making sure that the 3D part could be rigged.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Sierra, Yeah, Sierra was in charge of making sure 2D could be rigged, and I was in charge of making sure that the 3D could be rigged.
No, that's
Yep.
fair. And especially, I was saying, especially with like the way that the 3D elements that were emphasized in Pretty Kitty or whatnot, like it's. I can only imagine the struggle, but also like the amount of pride you must have looking back after the fact to see such an amazing model like that working.
Oh, looking back on it now, definitely, I'm very proud of that rig. I did not do the model. Another one of our team members, Lauren, did it, and
Okay.
we absolutely adore her for her work on that. It was beautiful.
She did the fuzz. Like the fuzz on Kitty looks good because of Lauren. Like she is so good with making things look fuzzy. So like Asher was like our tech person, like in that regard, and then Lauren was just like fuzzy and like the textures, like the cat horse. Oh man, Lauren did so good texturing that. Lauren textured that, right? Or
Yeah, that was Lauren.
yeah, Lauren
The
is
course.
awesome. The course, I freaking hate the course.
I
But
think
again-
the course is amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, for goodness sakes, I mean, you know, like I said in our intro, whatnot, Pretty Kitty's Parkland would not be what it is without the unique charm of something like the course.
I remember when we saw the concept art for that thing, I was like, this is freaking horrible. I love it. Can we make that? And then Lauren modeled it. And then Asher, you also did a lot of lighting stuff too.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about that.
So back to rigging for just a second. I also made a very, very basic mock-up of Casey in 3D. So that way, as we animated Kitty, Kitty had something to physically touch to work as a landmark. So that way, then when Corey went to composite everything together, there were clear landmarks for where Kitty should be animated to.
Right.
Also for the 2D team, like Emma, you would remember, like we had the little 3D mock-up of Casey, so like Emma who could just easily animate over it, because there's a scene where like I forget who animated the scene where Kitty shakes
Kitty
Casey.
shaking Casey.
Was
Yeah,
that
was
you?
me.
I think you
That was me.
animated everything in that whole sequence, if I remember correctly.
Perhaps.
Well, because
Mayhaps.
You did good. You
Yeah.
knocked it out of the park. I like the scene where Casey falls. Like you really nailed the 2D animation.
Thank you.
there.
That was one of the hardest but most fun shots to work on, honestly.
Yeah, it was
Well, I mean,
good.
Well, I mean, that does honestly kind of lead me to a question I was going to ask as well, because like I can imagine for you, like being a 2D animator, being the lead 2D animator for this kind of thing, or one of the lead. Either way, having to try to coordinate your 2D animation around 3D animation, that's not really a very conventional thing when it comes to animation. So how was that even accomplished in the first place for those that may not even know how that is even possible? Working with 2D and 3D, like finding a way to have both dimensions interacting with each other.
Compositing and a shit
Yeah,
ton of
composi-
pre-planning. I cannot emphasize the pre-planning that has to go into every shot. It starts with the boards.
Mhm.
So we actually had a few rules. One of the bigger rules is that please don't have a shot where Kitty and Casey are full-bodied and walking towards each other. If we can have the less walk cycles, the better. Any 2D, 3D interactions, like remember how like aggressive I was with limiting those because they were just so hard to do.
Yeah.
mhm.
So a lot of planning. Asher, you made that model of Casey, which was awesome, but you have to plan. Layout was a big thing where I had to make these really cursed passes of everything, and remember how cursed those are. So a lot of planning, and then compositing. Sierra remembers Corey in the comp mines.
Yep.
Come on.
You want to talk about the images, Sierra? I think from somebody who had to witness the Corey comp mines.
Well, there was multiple forms you took. It was either you sleep deprived or you turned into Corey Worm.
I remember being a worm.
That's when Corey would borrow my sleeping bag in order to at least get some rest. Or I would lug Corey over my shoulder and literally walk them out of the building and take them back to their bed so that they could get sleep.
You know, that
Yeah.
is a true friend more than anything else. But also, I need to say, I now need an image, a drawing of Corey Worm, just as described, more than anything else. That needs to be brought into reality and brought into the world. Thanks to this conversation.
I have video of Corey Worm. It is
Oh, goodness.
hilarious.
Please don't post that. I think that will get me blacklisted. Wasn't it like 3 a.m. and I was like, I'm aware. I was like so sleep deprived. I remember. I
Yeah.
like remember going around like in my sleeping bag going, I'm a worm, and I was like, I'm the worm, and I was so sleep deprived I didn't care. It was horrible.
Goodness.
This is how you make movies, by the way.
Yeah, this is totally how you make movies, and a totally normal, healthy way that you make movies.
If you
want
want to make a movie, you got to be prepared for the worm stage. Like there's the pre-production, there's production, and then there's the worm stage, which is the stage between finishing the movie and post-production. It's a very. Did anyone else experience worm Corey or just Sierra?
No, I was there. I was there for Worm Corey. It was quite the experience. It was definitely concerning because it was like, oh man, we're only so far into the production. Corey's already lost it. Or will we make it? Will we survive? Answer was yes, we did survive.
You guys
But,
did survive.
Asher had
It
to
was
like.
scary to watch.
I probably missed Corey Worm because I was probably in my room screaming about the cat rig.
Yeah,
Oh, the
sometimes. So.
Well, this
working
was
with
after
fur
the cat
sucks
rig.
Sometimes. Asher, do you want to talk about the
This
fur
was
and
during
lighting
college.
process?
Spring.
Oh, Forrest is about to join, but Asher, if you want to talk about the lighting and furring process of Kitty, because that was very important, especially when you had to basically guess where the light was, because you had to deal with 3 different things, shot in 3 different lighting situations sometimes, and then Asher, if you want to talk about lighting.
Yeah, so I was also in charge of doing all the lighting for the 3D elements. Because, in case you didn't know, 3D happens in the void.
No.
If you don't put a light in there, there is nothing. You are in the blank void of space. So you have to
There's
give it a light. So we had to make the lighting as if it was in a room without actually putting it in a room for anything. The course, the carousel, the microphone, the cat, the head. Any shot with a 3D element in it was recorded or done in the void, had to be lit in the void, and then had to be carefully rendered out. So the computer had to take all the individual pictures with a transparent background so it could be then placed on top of the drawings that were in a different program. So we were working with magic.
Yeah, to put it mildly, anytime you have to do 3D magic when it comes to that, like that is no joke, legitimately magic brought to life, and I am impressed with the especially with the lighting you guys were able to implement on so many different elements and so many different like scenes more than anything else. It's really I am not just gaslighting you guys, or I'm not just hyping you guys up by simply saying that like it was really impressive what you guys were able to put forth visually more than anything else. Like the absolute visuals, the absolute like the elements and how they interacted with each other. Like I cannot get enough of it more than anything. And I can imagine, especially for you guys, given how the elements seem to work for you guys in the first place, or were against you guys in the first place, to create such a incredible concept. And I can imagine it's a relatively short amount of time. The fact that you're able to put forth something so stunning has to be an achievement on its own.
I didn't
Thank
sleep.
you. I appreciate the glazing.
We like our favorite part of all this. Can I tell the story of the first things our professor said? Because it's so.
Oh no, I'm scared. Go on.
So-
That was hilarious.
Oh no, this was our professor. Our first day. So over the summer, we kind of worked on Kitty. We got the storyboards. We got like everything, like a rough cut of the story, and we have like all these really sketchy thumbnails because we didn't even know if they were gonna let us do half the stuff we wanted to do. I'm like, yeah, so this guy's gonna get split in half and like jab himself with a needle and like sew themselves into a cat costume. It's gonna be awful. And we were really loose with the initial thumb pass because we didn't know if they were gonna say no, you can't make that. That's too much. So
Right.
I remember showing it. We all lined up. and we show the rough pass to our professor, and after it ends, there's just a silence. Oh, Forrest is here. Hi, Forrest. You're Corey
Hello,
now,
Forrest.
but I'll fix that in a sec.
Hello.
Hello.
Anyway, so we're standing there, and there's a deafening silence. Our professor looks at me, looks at the board, and then looks at my team, and the first words out of his mouth, "You guys agreed to work on this?" It was so funny. It was so
It was
funny.
funny.
The whole time there was like this doubt of like, this is gonna have a really niche audience, and probably not like people will watch it, but it'll be like niche. A few people might like it. Remember that doubt that was always hanging?
Like, we weren't expecting it to leave the world of like people who like horror content.
Yeah, but all the
Mhm.
chat showed up, so that's pretty awesome. So yeah, there was
That
a lot
is-
of doubt with this. Like, there was even like getting it pitched. So many people didn't like. You had to assemble the Avengers of 10 people, and so many people were like thinking, I don't want to work on mixed media. This doesn't sound doable. Like this, like you're
People
insane.
doubted this
People-
film, man. People
It nearly got
doubted.
canceled. Remember how it nearly got canceled, and then we nearly didn't get to make the film because they didn't think it was possible to do what we were doing. And
Yeah.
then the only person who stopped us was the stop motion professor, who literally got up and said, "Let them cook."
Oh wow.
So we
Yeah.
nearly lost the film.
Well, I'm glad that you guys were actually able to do it and bring forth the life of this demented vision.
I bet they're
which
kicking
actually
themselves
kinda-
now.
Which I think actually kind of works with the fact that Forrest, one of the art leads, actually was able to join us. Thank you for joining us,
Yes,
Forrest.
hello, Forrest.
It actually kind of leads into kind of a good question or whatnot. What was it like, especially for you, to kind of help bring this vision and bring this idea to life? Because it's one thing for Corey to have this idea; it's another thing to actually make it like a reality.
Mhm.
So what was the experience like for you to actually like bring this thing to life?
Well, it was a lot of fun. Corey had their original ideas and concepts, some original sketches of Casey and Kitty, but we really got to, all brainstorm of what we wanted this to look like.
Mhm.
And I know we drew a lot of inspiration from like stuff like Paprika, honestly, and other things as well, and also Spider-Verse and everything else that's been like mixed media. And so yeah, we did want to do the mixed media thing. So for the backgrounds, especially for the middle section when they're going through the park,
Yes.
yeah, that was had a lot more actual collage in it. So me and other people who were working on the backgrounds, I was leading the team. We compiled like stock images. I took some of my own photos.
Okay.
Some of the like the Ferris wheel, the like the carts or whatever, they're made of box textures, which I took myself from like a package I had ordered, and we combined that with like illustrations and everything else, and that's how we put it all together. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, kind of like experimenting and trying different things that I hadn't really done before.
Right.
And everyone was a big help. Of course, I did a good chunk of the concept art and visual development, but I was far from the only one. And so the rest of the team definitely contributed a lot to, especially the props and backgrounds.
Oh, absolutely. I was gonna say, like, especially when it comes to some of the scenes you were talking about, especially that roller coaster sequence. I saw a lot of people in chat talking about it, but I know that for me personally, like watching it visually, that was probably like one of my favorite moments. Just seeing all the different elements and all the different like ways that animation was instituted, whether it be the 2D, the 3D, the fun models, the I assume we're gonna call the cat roller coaster the Kohler coaster or something along the lines of that.
It was inspired by those. We actually call it the Caterpillar because there's these really
Caterpillar.
You ever see
okay.
those messed up Caterpillar coasters? Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Caterpillar has like the most screwed up face ever. That was a big that was designed by actually our 3D artist Evan. Didn't Evan design that? The evil cat coaster? 'Cause-
I think he did.
yeah, he was great.
yeah.
Pretty sure, yeah.
And
I think he designed it, Lauren modeled it, and then I textured it.
Yeah, I remember that. But we based it off of the really look up Caterpillar roller coaster. And
Oh, yeah.
they're evil looking, and I thought this was funny. But Forrest, you've neglected to talk about the
Yes.
true inspiration behind Pretty Kitty, the true inspiration behind the evil one, and you know what that is.
So, one thing we really got a lot of inspiration from, and this was actually brought up by some of the people we were working alongside, and it became like a major inspiration point, is this amusement park in Denmark called Bon Bon Land.
Ooh.
And it is extremely cursed. Kind of like there's a lot of gross out humor in it. Like there's statues like taking a dump or like with their boobs out or something. It's really
Okay.
weird. But it was just cursed enough that we could take a lot of inspiration from it. So yeah, it was a nice coincidence that someone we were working alongside had been to the park and was like, hey, this is a good thing to pull from, and it ended up being, yeah, a good inspiration.
I mean, I can easily see how something as, again, unique as that could lead to such a fun inspiration that, again, led to, like I said, some of the cool sequences that we had already talked about, like, again, the Caterpillar and such, and the course. Seeing how weird of a concept this even is in the first place. No, not even weird. What's the word I want to use for this point? Given how fun this park seems to be more than anything else, and given all the different elements that you guys were able to implement into this in one form or fashion, like I said, especially with that Caterpillar, one of the things I was going to also emphasize is not only was like the 3D modeling and the 2D models really cool, I appreciate the other elements of mixed media you guys use, such as like the little paper stop motion thing more than anything. It was like the two faces when they were at the peak of the roller coaster, because that's one that you don't really see as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Corey can probably speak to this more.
About the puppets.
Yes, and the paper animation.
Oh yeah, so I did the stop motion animation for that. I actually took a stop motion class, and I really love stop motion.
Really?
It's really expensive to make stop motion. You need a whole setup for it. It's a lot. But I keep seeing the question in the chat about the mascots' names, the other mascots, Kitty's animal friends, and Chad, I'll give you this one. I'll tell you their names. So they were all actually cameos from our teacher. He was the only teacher who had 4 different films, because during thesis year, each teacher gets 2 films, but because he was the lead chair, he had 4 films. So there was the 2 p.m. class, which first you have the little owl. His name is Percy, and he's from the film that my friend made, Above the Clouds. So his name is Percy. You have the little cloud puppy. He's from a film called Overcast, who we forever have sympathy for, because during the big end of the year showcase, they were the film that had to play before us. Their movie was about a cute cloud puppy that learned it's okay to be sad sometimes, and it looks like a Pixar movie, and everything is so fluffy, and then the next film was Kitty. It was the best and worst placement one could have. But yes, his name
It was kind of a gruesome display of difference.
But his name is Ciro, Cirro, and Ciro's so cute. And then the dragon was our sister film, so the film that was made alongside ours. You may have seen at the beginning of Pretty Kitty, there's a little text bubble that says Animus 2 makes $8 billion opening weekend. And that's because our sister film was called Animus, and theirs had this really cool dragon in it. They never named the dragon, so we gave them a name ourselves, and we named them Totino. So that's Totino the dragon.
Yes.
I don't know why we named him Totino,
Yes.
but we named him Totino.
Because it was the
we
dragon
named it for him.
child.
So I animated those in stop motion, and then comping those were a nightmare because the lighting for that was shot from above, and you have the the lighting when they're animated basically flat. So imagine a table, and then on the table I would move, and the camera was above it's called drop shooting, and then I would do this drop shoot, animate them, and then on a green screen, and then I would comp out the green screen, do a lot of additional masking, and then I added in 2D digital puppet strings. Those shots probably took about at least 30 hours each in post-production. It was
Goodness.
We had to change the color though for the dragon because we realized the dragon was green, so we had to use, I think, blue.
we used gray. I painted him gray.
Is it gray?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the fun fact was all of the film's directors, all the puppets that were used, I gave them to the directors of the film as a little present before we all
Aw.
graduated. So all those
Mhm.
puppets, I do not have them anymore. They were given away as gifts for the lovely directors. You should check out all 3 of those films. Overcast, Above the Clouds, and Animus, all made by awesome people. Please check them out. They are really cool. You can type their name in or just append, like, I don't know, animated film on it. Go check it out.
Probably on
Absolutely.
Instagram for right now. I don't think any of them are released yet. But yes, check them out, support them,
Yes,
keep an eye out for when they do release.
Absolutely. I mean, given the incredible, given the amount of love you guys have given back to those films or whatnot, I cannot tell you guys that I would be excited to see how those films turned out. I gotta get the double feature set up though, because I need to see the effect of having Overcast followed by Pretty Kitty. I want that true experience. I want this to be the new Barbenheimer. All right, like
It was. Wait,
It
no, we
was.
called it.
We called it
for
that.
our class.
Yeah.
We called our professor's class Wormenheimer.
Yeah, Professor Warman.
Because
he
that's
was
his name.
awesome. Yeah, Warmenheimer, because also the 2 p.m. So the 2 p.m. class, basically you have this cute cloud puppy movie and this cute owl movie, and then in the next movie you have Pretty Kitty and like Animus was like this really cool movie about like this girl seeking revenge on a dragon, and it was really freaking cool and really brutal. It was like this blisteringly brutal action movie. They knocked out of the park with that one, and it was just they called the 2 p.m. Disney Junior, and we were Adult Swim. Because he would go from like, yay, cute, happy movie to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What happened?
speaking
And
of
weren't
Jesus-
Animus and Above the Clouds next to each other in the showcase as well?
Yeah, it was just
Yes.
Warmenheimer. It was awesome.
It was amazing.
And speaking of Jesus Christ, what the hell was going on with you guys? I gotta talk about that ending. There's no way that we can avoid talking about that ending more than anything else. I love how it basically started on like the way that you guys are more or less like leading to the edge. I love how it started on the Ferris wheel, which was kind of the thing that kicked everything off, talking about, hey, gruesome happened, the exit that happened on the Ferris wheel, having Casey and Pretty Kitty interacting on there. Like, what was the thought process for how you guys wanted to finish this thing? Because I could tell that you guys really wanted to emphasize a lot of messaging from like throughout the film, and also like you wanted that true element of, oh my god, what the fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The first thing Corey had was Casey getting sewn into a cat suit. That was the first plot point
That's what inspired
that we
me.
had.
Mhm.
And then I thought about the ending. So I'm very big on body horror. I'm huge on body horror. So I wanted that last scene to be the most existential night. So one of the rules we had, unfortunately, was the film cannot be longer than 3 minutes, and that was a really cumbersome workaround. Like, we got to make it longer, a little bit longer in the final release, but the original had to fit into 3 minutes. We had to speed stuff up. It sucked for what we had to hand in, but if it was 0.1 second over, we'd fail. So, you guys remember how aggressive I was with that scene. I needed it to be good. I'd like to introduce you, well, before I get into that, a lot of inspiration went into it. I'd say my biggest inspirations was, The Thing. Specifically for the head split, there was The Fly, obviously, the Cronenberg Fly. Specifically the ending scene where, have you guys ever seen The Fly? The Cronenberg one. So, when, like, Brundle's, Jeff Brundle's face just completely slows off and it's disgusting. That was an inspiration. And then there's also the hand snapping off specifically was inspired by the scene from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, I think, where the girl gets turned into a cockroach. I'm not sure if you've seen this film. So a lot of body horror inspiration, but the true inspiration, I gotta talk about it. You guys know it. The true inspiration was a calzone, and I'm not joking. Specifically, so it was kind of a build-up, like, okay, we have the face kind of melting, that's a little disturbing, the arms snapping off, that's a bit grosser. Now we need one final disgusting visual, and I'm like, their head should kind of like snap open with Kitty inside. That'd be vile. But getting a reference for that was really hard. Because I went to all my horror movies and like, Saw. Do they do this in Saw? They don't do it in Saw.
Hey,
The Thing. We have
Sorry, I gotta go.
Oh, well, thanks for joining
Okay.
us, Forrest. Bye.
Thank you so much, Forrest.
Say bye to Forrest, chat. I'll fix it in a sec, sorry. So I couldn't find a reference of how I wanted the innards to work, so I angrily, like at, I think, 2 a.m, just on Google went, cheese melting slow into the search bar. And the video that came up, Dan Milano, a channel with 41 subscribers, had uploaded a video tearing a calzone in half, slow motion. It was
Okay.
perfect! So, the main reference, this will ruin calzones forever, the main reference for Casey getting split in half was a calzone. And, that was behind that, and it was just this roller coaster of, I need this to stick with people. I need this to be just go from 0 to 100. I was so adamant about making this as disgusting and vile as possible.
I have to say, first and foremost, I need to make sure that we get that video posted somewhere, like on socials, so that people can truly understand the genius that was behind it and the inspiration behind it, because there needs to be a lot of respect with how well you're able to get that and translate it into, again, such a grotesque scene towards the end. I want to ask the rest of the crew members real quickly, though. Like, I imagine for you guys, that must have been a task on its own to kind of really execute that vision and get it out there, because it's not like every day you get to draw a face melting off or an arm popping off.
That was me.
So Corey did the rough,
I
and
animated
then
all
I
that.
cleaned it up.
I had so much
Mostly
fun.
Sierra and Corey did the gore scenes.
Okay.
I pretty much animated the whole sequence for the ending from where... So Emma animated the really awesome drop into where Casey gets
The
dropped.
office.
Emma animated that and did such a good job of animating the fall and stuff. I remember seeing it and going, whoa! And then
Thank you.
I had so much fun animating the roughs. We had a test we called the Nicole test.
Okay.
So there was a person in our class named Nicole. Nicole was very squeamish. She was on the other team. Now, the
Okay.
thing about Nicole was that... But Nicole had seen this scene 400,000 times, because we'd have to show it each and every presentation that we'd start class with. And every time we got to the scene where Casey's hand snapped off, I'd look at Nicole. If Nicole didn't look absolutely disgusted, I'd reanimate it. So I reanimated it, and then... Okay, little wins. I gotta do more. I gotta be grosser. There was a guy who was really into horror on the other side, too, so I'd ask them for advice, like, how do I make this grosser? I needed that arm snap to be vile. And,
Right.
Nicole, and then remember when we got the sound out of Nicole? Remember when she...
Mhm.
Yeah,
and I was like, we
brutal.
got it! Thank you, Nicole. That was fun.
Our unfortunate guinea pig. I feel bad.
Asher, it was even making you squeamish at one point, wasn't it?
I don't like horror. I question why I agreed to do this.
I think Sierra...
Well, you joined before you even knew anything.
I know. I regret my decision.
I'm in the same boat. I joined before I heard a single other pitch for our year.
Goodness. I mean, regardless, I'm
Just
you know,
because Corey is my good friend. So
I mean, regardless.
I
the
like
fact-
horror. It was a good idea for me.
There you go.
There weren't many people who like doing... That was the hardest part getting Kitty. People don't like doing rig animation. And I remember seeing your portfolio and you had all this really good rig animation. And now everyone's
Yeah,
looking for
I'm-
rig animation people, so I hope you feel happy in that.
Yeah, I love doing both hand drawn and rig animation. They both have their strong suits and weaknesses, but I definitely feel like rig based animation is slept on in terms of like being used outside of like the TV industry. At least I think, because you don't see it a lot in like personal projects. Probably because the whole like rig making process is super strenuous, but
Mhm.
it does have its benefits.
say I rigged Casey in I think
You did it.
2 weeks
did.
or something.
You made a
Oh,
second
wow.
rig in like how long did the second rig take you?
No, I did both rigs in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did rigged because another big
But-
part of our process was
But also, like, the second one was reusing a lot of the assets.
God bless your rigs though, but we used rigs
Yeah.
for most, like some scenes we couldn't rig, like, you know, the finale. That had to be hand drawn. The rig can't do that. The scene where
Right.
Casey gets yoinked into the air and spun around, that was hand drawn. I animated that too. But
It's
we
literally just hand drawn, and after they fall in the office, those are the only hand drawn ones.
Okay.
Them
No,
flying
Fall
in-
into the Office was also Rick.
Yeah. No, I'm saying after they fall into the office. Right after is
saved
no
us
longer
time.
rig.
It saved us so much
Yes.
time. Because
Oh,
we
yeah.
had to
Yeah,
make this in a year. We only had 1 year to make this film, and for production, so for animation, we had to have all animation done in 10 weeks. Everything. All the 3D,
Yeah.
all the stop motion, all the 2D, we had 10 weeks to do it. So with rigs, what's really nice is, one, you don't got to worry about people drawing on model, and the biggest thing is you bypass the cleanup step. That saved us weeks of time.
There were so
much
many
time.
other films that were taking so much time having to do cleanup into our final quarter.
We laughed at them. Cleanup artist.
Goodness.
I
Cleanup
think we
does have
had
a certain amount of zen to it. I mean, you got to do cleanup for the secretary. That was fun. I like doing
That
the
was
secretary.
There you go.
Secretina, my beloved.
Oh yeah, Secretina or Secretary.
I love
Secretina.
Yeah, her name is
Nice.
the secretary at the end of Pretty Kitty who goes, "Hi, how can I help?" Her name is Secretina.
No,
And the
absolutely.
company she works for is insert logo here, ILH.
Oh, you know, I was gonna ask about that because I said the ILH. I'm like, what sort of inside joke? do we
Insert
have
logo
going on
here.
Insert logo here.
There's your Pretty Kitty lore chat. Secretina, who works for that's the company that Casey now works for. Insert logo here.
There
They
you
probably
go.
I don't even know what they do. I don't even know what they do. I'm just like boring office job. I don't know what they do. They maybe like design logos or something for like.
Maybe it's a paper company.
I mean, you know, that would make sense. That would make some sort of sense, one form or fashion. I want to ask this for you guys at this point because obviously, like we talked a good bit already when it comes to all the different elements you guys have had a hand in or whatnot. But I'm curious on what your guys' favorite moment or favorite element that you got to toy around with when it comes to this thing. Because again, with such a unique concept and with such fun designs, there's got to be like a personal favorite moment or a personal favorite like element. Like, hey, it was really cool to mess around with this, or hey, it was really awesome to see this like brought to life. Like, we'll go down the list of the people that I see listed or whatnot. I'll save Corey for last. So if we can, Emma, what was like your favorite element when it came to working on Pretty Kitty?
Oh, that's a good question. Seeing how far we could push like the horror and the expressions. One of the things I did have a lot of trouble with the rig was expressions and pushing them to kind of really sell like a look of like of horror or like shock. And so seeing what we could do to make it, because this is like my first like animated horror project ever. And I've always really liked horror, so I wanted to really sell the disturbance in Casey. And so trying to push that was a lot of fun, and I like doing it.
That's incredible. I can only imagine that, like I said, the fact this is your first time working on an element like an animated horror thing, like the fact that you got to be able to help bring that to life. I can see why that's near and dear to you more than anything else.
Yeah.
Sierra, what about yourself? What was the element or the moment of Pretty Kitty that you loved the most?
So actually, I found it fun to do the cleanup of the gore scenes.
Okay.
I actually find cleanup fun.
Okay.
It was very fun for like the hand. I made sure to add muscle fiber.
Oh yeah. No, that
Is the muscle detail.
That detail was top notch more than anything else.
I basically all of that gore sequence I did all of the cleanup for, and I also remember for when the face splits, I made sure that at first all of the teeth drop out, fall out,
okay.
and
I
then
remember that,
both eyeballs also fall out.
That was inspired by
But-
The Fly.
Yeah, that was part of the Brundle fly. But I remember having to then track muscle fibers when the face splits. Because I decided, oh, I'm gonna add muscle fibers, so it seems just a tad bit more realistic.
I mean, I think you did a really good job really getting that good visceral, more than anything else, like reaction or visceral like expressions and seeing how the elements actually played out or whatnot. You knocked it out of the park when it came to that. I can understand
And
why.
then I
Again,
loved the confetti.
oh yes, the confetti. Which I gotta point this out. I think I didn't notice this until I looked in the comments or whatnot. But I appreciate the fact that on the Ferris wheel, when you guys take off Pretty Kitty's head, that the confetti is red like blood. That is
was
a
my
nice
idea.
subtle. That was a nice subtle element that I really loved and appreciated.
Also, I think it was
Yes,
partially Forrest.
I did
idea.
that confetti.
Nice.
I think it was Forrest who thought of confetti blood. Like what if there was more confetti? And I loved it, and then I said, oh yes, confetti blood. That'd be so much fun. But yeah, the red confetti was intentional. It was supposed to be kind of funny. It's like because I remember when we showed it first, it was funny because it was people laughed, and then they're like, oh, so good job with the confetti.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Asher, I gotta ask for you, what was your favorite element or favorite moment of Pretty Kitty?
So my favorite moment that I got to do was the eye snapping on Kitty. Because for most of the film, if you see, Kitty's eyes are just kind of bleh, off in La La Land, not really focused. But there's that one scene where they snap together,
Yep.
and I literally animated the mesh texture on the, like it was moving on the eyeball. It was so cool to do. And it just added to the fun complexity of the rig because everything on that rig could move. I made a whole set of buttons that everyone that touched the rig could use to help select things, to help deselect, to make sure they got everything they were looking for so they could do things a little easier. So that eye snap scene was definitely my favorite thing.
No, I can honestly, yeah. That's like you said, that snap or whatnot, that emphasized like however serious or however ridiculous the scenario was going or whatnot, that was like, I would almost call it like the beginning or at least like the first moment of the climax, just with those that snap more than anything else, the way that it's so good. And Corey, I have to ask for you, obviously, as the one that was the impetus of this and the one that kind of oversaw all the elements of it. What was your favorite moment or favorite element of Pretty Kitty?
Gore! 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 Violence! Gore! I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I love horror so much. And our biggest fear with Kitty was that, oh my god, what if they say, like, you aren't allowed to do this? Because I've heard stories of professors saying you can't do that. So I was really shocked when we were just allowed to do what we wanted to do. The professor was really hands-off. So I think I've never had so much fun animating anything until I got to animate the head getting ripped in half and the arm. Like, it was fun. I love animating. I love body horror. And I had never really animated body horror, like, I animated it once on a really old cartoon, if you remember the Moose God bit, but it was so much fun, and I was excited to do it again, and oh man, I loved it. I mean, just, also compositing, I freaking love compositing so much. I love, like, there's not a lot of people learn compositing out of necessity.
Right.
I don't like compositing. I love it. So even though I was being tortured by my own creation for like 4 weeks of sleeping on a couch in the animation hall and waking up, I love it, and I love what I was able to just kind of composite. Every time I show my reel to people, they're like, whoa, that's crazy! We're not gonna hire you, but that's crazy! and it gets people's attention. So just comping it and making something just so ridiculously experimental, it was fun. Except for that merry-go-round shot. I never want to see that shot ever again. That stupid merry-go-round shot. Do you guys remember my sanity, like, rapidly declining? That shot of the merry-go-round took at least 90 hours of compositing.
Killed so many computers.
Oh my god, we killed 90 computers at our school making this.
Huh?
Not like fully killed, but like
They would stop
they
working.
stopped working.
They
for-
shut down on us trying to like
They
render
would
this
just
film
outright stop
plenty of time.
processing Pretty Kitty because the files were getting so big, and then we have to find a new computer to work on. And I would like have to make sure no one was on it, and if someone was on it, I'd be like, "Hi, we're making a VFX movie. I need you to move now." And usually my scary, and then I would roll my charisma intimidation check. Usually roll pretty high, and they would usually get up and leave.
You cannot handle the power of my Uber animation.
Imagine
What?
a 5'3", sleep-deprived, bloodshot eyes, shaking person comes up to you and kindly asks you to, "Please, I need the computer."
Goodness.
It was fun. The real best was
I
the
think
fun
they
fair.
more gave it to you out of pity.
The fun fair was my favorite thing. We actually, near the end of the pre-production, as a little treat for the team, there was a local amusement park happening, and we actually got to go.
Okay.
That was, remember when I ate all those pickles? There
that
was
was
a pickle
during
eating
the
contest.
beginning.
And I entered. I didn't win. I got through like half a pickle, and I was watching this one guy going to town on the pickles. But remember the pickle eating contest? That was that. I think me and a pickle eating and being stuck on top of the Ferris wheel. We rode a Ferris wheel. I'm like, guys, oh my god, we're stuck at the top. This is like the ending of the movie.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We don't want to manifest anything.
Yeah,
Don't
let's
say
not
that.
manifest that dynasty anytime soon.
We did. It
Um,
was awesome. It was probably my. I love that amusement park trip. That's like a memory forever.
It was a good time.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Now, I have one last question I want to ask you guys before we go to the chat for all the questions that they have. And well, again, we'll go down the line, once again, because obviously, we have the favorite moments. But I'm curious. Now that Pretty Kitty is done and is out there, now that you guys are moving on to other incredible stuff at the end of the day, and now that the only way that Pretty Kitty can seem to live on is with the incredible merch that you guys can buy right now, I'm sure we'll have links to that somewhere. What is your guys' biggest takeaway when it comes to working on this project, Pretty Kitty? Again, I'll start with Emma. What is quite possibly the biggest takeaway you have?
Ooh, good question. Like how many people in like jobs are needed on like a small project? Because this film was only like 3 minutes long, and we
Yeah.
had like 9 different people plus a bunch of like extra help doing so many different jobs, and it kind of just helped me realize how much work goes even to such a small scale production. Really makes you appreciate the time and sleep that you managed to get.
Honestly, yeah, extremely valid, especially in a field like this. I can see how that kind of becomes a thing that you take away from it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was also a really good opportunity for me because I got to learn a lot about compositing.
Mhm.
I feel like I wouldn't have been able to learn as much when it comes to compositing if I didn't work on this film. So I'm very happy with that.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. It's wonderful to hear that at the end of the day. Sierra, what about you? What was your biggest takeaway from this project?
I would say my biggest takeaway from this project was the memories I made with the whole team. And then the experience of learning how to, as the producer, I was also in charge of making sure everything got done on time and making sure everyone was actually having a task to do per week.
Mm-hmm.
So it taught me a lot about patience, a lot about how to bring in an unruly Corey at times, and
Be nice. I can remove you from this chat, Sierra.
Regardless, it was a fun experience, learning how to deal with other people and making sure everything works, everything is getting done at a timely manner.
Honestly, understandable and very valid, especially in a field like this. Asher, what about you? What was your biggest takeaway from this project?
So kind of piggybacking off of Sierra,
Mhm.
making a film, making a project, anything like this is a team effort. It is a team sport. There is no one person who is more important than anyone else,
Mhm.
because like Sierra's job was making sure everyone else had a job to do. So if we were in a heavy 2D phase, it wasn't, oh, Asher, you're 3D, you sit on your butt and wait for someone. No, it's here's a task that is in your skill set that you can do. Or we need this 3D thing fixed right now, or so it was a team effort. There wasn't one person who made or broke the film. But if enough people started being like, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, then you would run into issues. So it was important that we worked together. And like if a scene made one person uncomfortable, like I'm not big into gore. So guess what? I didn't work on any of the gore scenes.
Oh, there you go.
If something needed to be composited and they were like, hey, Asher, we need you to help composite. Okay, just don't give me a gore scene and I will do whatever you want me to do. So it was all about teamwork and communication, and that's what really makes the film work.
Absolutely. Again, especially in a field like animation where there's a lot of people, a lot of moving parts or whatnot, having that understanding and communication of working on certain parts or whatnot, it's a very major part for a lot of productions at the end of the day. I should have probably said this a little earlier, but like I went to school for mass media, so like TV, film, all that kind of jazz or whatnot. So like the way you guys are talking about like the process or whatnot, I understood like many different aspects of it, and I also know when it's going well, and I know when it's completely chaotic and there's no going back. So that communication definitely is key at the end of the day. And then Corey, for you, what is your biggest takeaway from Pretty Like Kitty or Pretty Kitty?
Pretty Kitty is real and can hurt you.
Okay, well, you know what? I better start investing in stuff to make sure that my room is secure, a lot more padded, so that Pretty
Catnip.
Kitty, catnip,
Actually,
especially.
let me try that again. Pretty Kitty is real and can hurt you. I'm outside your house with a baseball bat with your name on it.
Sorry. You guys start running away. I'm scared, guys. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm scared.
Well, this is wonderful. You guys can do the rest on your own. No, I'm joking.
Aside from that, making a film, especially as a director, is a
Mhm.
lot of freaking work. Like I wasn't sitting there. I was leading 2D, 3D, stop motion, compositing, and then I had to also be making sure everything was looking good. It's really hard sometimes. I think the hardest thing as a director is I'm very nice, and I hate telling people this looks bad. So when somebody makes a thing, it's like, this looks great, but, and then you kind of learn these, Pixar uses it a lot, because you never want to tell anyone their idea is bad, because I think all
Right.
ideas are good, but there's just a right time and a place, and it's called plussing. Pixar uses it all the time, and I think it's just taking something, like Emma talked earlier about, like, expressions. Like, Emma's animation looked good, but I think we can put the expression further, and it's a matter of how
Right.
do you talk to people. It's a big communication job being a director. It's not just, oh, make my project for me. It's, you have your vision, and sometimes you'll doubt your vision, like, I don't know, but then someone makes the cat horse, and you go, yo! But also, at the end of the day, I also want to make sure that everyone was getting stuff out of it. So, like, with Emma's animations, I'd go, like, this is great, but let's push it more, and learning to communicate that, and getting people's skills to just go way up, like, you did good, but we can make this even better. Let's keep making things better, as good as we can make them. I wish we had more time to make the film, but everyone did so freaking good, and just, like, there'd be problems sometimes. We'd run into technical issues,
Oh, yeah.
and you as the director would have to solve them, and sometimes it was a comp issue, sometimes it was a, hey, I'm kind of feeling really demotivated issue. It was It was a lot, and just learning how to like just lead a team is really hard. I mean, Sierra helped a lot with making sure everything was working, and it was making animation is a lot, but then you see your finished film, and I think the moment that kind of just felt unreal was when we played it in the film, and I filmed this, and during the last scene where you see Casey sewn into the cat costume, the scene that popped into my brain, the scene that this is why I wanted to do this, the moment that scene happened and the lights went on, the whole theater screamed in horror, and it was glorious. I felt it. I was sitting next to my partner, and they were like hugging me like, Corey, they were scared of it. It was euphoria, and I think that's the big thing, is just you'll have this doubt, like doubt is gonna, like the easy part is going, and then you're like there. It's like going to Disneyland. You like think about thinking of, yeah, I'm at Disneyland, and then you have to do all the planning and like the lightning lane's at 5 p.m. Oh God, the line is so long. And then you like have all these great memories, and you have that final thing you've made. You've climbed that mountain. You've gotten to the top. You thought you couldn't, but you're looking down now at what you've accomplished, and it's like. I didn't watch Pretty Kitty for like a good solid year, and then it was like coming back to it, it's like, dang, how the hell did we make this? I don't remember making it. Like, I went to a talk with Don Hertzfeldt, and he talks a lot about memory when you're making the project. I don't know if you guys relate to this, but I don't remember making this film.
I mean, you also got like no sleep during the entirety of this project. I don't think your memory would have lasted because
even then, like, I don't remember physically sitting in the lab making it. I barely have memories of me making it. There's just a film has suddenly appeared, and it's like, where did this come from?
That's crazy. I remember. I was the opposite. I remember a lot, and sitting there for a long amount of time. Focusing really hard on trying to get shots right, beautiful, and how I wanted them.
Same.
So really, everyone did so freaking good. Like, this film wouldn't have been possible without anyone. So Chad, if you could just say like thank you to my awesome team, because without them, don't give me credit for making Pretty Kitty. I just came up with a really silly idea, but even that idea was morphed by the crew. Like, working with the crew is awesome. Because you have people who will add, like, you have your batter, and then someone will go, ooh, what if we add this? And you're like, I didn't think of that. Let's try that. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But just having a lot of people touch and add their own ingredients, and it makes this awesome film. So thank you all for, I mean, the whole team. Not all the team could be with us tonight, unfortunately. But thank you all. Like, this film wouldn't have been possible without you guys. So thank you. You guys are awesome, and I wish someone would hire all of you guys, because you all deserve the world, and yeah, that's my soppy little piece about it.
And hey, same to you, Corey, because like you are a part of this team as well. Like you are.
You also did a lot of work as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself too short.
But you guys did awesome. I love you all. I'm giving you all a hug from where I'm sitting right here. I miss you guys. I miss working in the lab. I miss our meetings.
I'll say everyone here deserves a job. Everyone in this call, everyone in the chat, everyone needs a job or deserves a job.
Give me a job application. I'll fill it out, please.
Cry for help. Oh my God.
Oh goodness. And now I think at this point, I think I've asked all the questions that I think I've had leading up to this. So I think it's time we turn to the chat. I know you guys have been anxious. I know you guys have been excited. I know you guys have been wanting to ask questions. Now is the time for you guys to ask in the chat questions about Pretty Kitty. We need to emphasize, as much as we want to talk about Ace, as much as we want to talk about Please Stay Tuned, we're focusing on Pretty Kitty today, because in fact we have the crew of Pretty Kitty right here with us. We will
never be together ever again. Everyone will be incinerated immediately after this meeting.
I didn't agree to that.
It was in the contract.
I didn't either. I have things to do.
I got work tomorrow.
You won't have to worry about work. You're welcome, guys. The slow.
Oh, when you feel like that.
Yeah, guys. The little chip in your head will go off at the conclusion of this stream. So hopefully the chat asks lots of really good questions.
I will say
Oh.
there's one question that was asked earlier that I want to go ahead and ask from M4_Devo RBLX. How many OSHA violations did the park have?
At least
50
750.
Over 9,000.
Over 9,000 park violations. Yeah, I Pretty Kitty's Playland was actually inspired by a real life incident. One of the parks, my childhood parks, and this originally, we eventually changed it to a Ferris wheel decapitation accident because it would make sense more thematically
Right.
of losing your head, haha. But originally it was closed down due to a flesh-eating virus because that actually happened. One of my childhood amusement parks, a flesh-eating virus broke out, and because of that, it closed. But we changed it. But yeah, it was kind of based on that. So a lot of OSHA. I was thinking of just bad amusement parks. So a lot of OSHA violations. I'm surprised. The roller coaster was probably, if the Ferris wheel didn't kill someone, the roller coaster would have.
Yeah,
Or
that,
the concession stand.
that honestly, especially with the example that Corey gave of the flesh-eating bacteria. My goodness, I vaguely remember hearing about that story, but that was more than I remembered.
I missed that part.
Also, I can imagine. Also, I've seen this a couple times in chat from a couple people, but I gotta ask, Casey got the job, right?
Yeah. Unlike us,
No.
Casey's employed. He did
I
it.
am
I feel like
employed.
there's two routes it could go. Either Casey got employed or Casey died from blood loss because they were bleeding a lot.
Chat,
Yeah,
you can come up with your own ending. I kind of left it ambiguous because my favorite part of art is how transformative it is. You can make your own ending. Somebody wrote an AU where they actually get help, and I think that's the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, that was a really lovely one to see. The ending is very sad, and it doesn't do Casey a lot of justice. But the concept of Casey getting a second chance and being able to at least physically heal from that ordeal and have the chance to heal mentally, it was nice to see.
See,
good.
I think everybody would say their own ending, and I think that's what's awesome. The Corey ending is death. But that's the,
The Corey ending is
The
dead.
Corey ending is not canon. By the end of the film, I was sick of this character. I was sick of having to wake up every day and stare at them and go, ugh! You know what? You're gonna, because if I don't have to look at them anymore. But you can come up with your own ending. I think that's what makes art really fun, is when people make their own thing.
That is honestly extremely valid. There's a question here from Buried Soil that I saw. It's mainly directed at Corey, but I want to get everyone's kind of reaction when it comes to this. How was it to see Pretty Kitty not only get its first award, not just being awarded, but how many times it got rewarded? Which I'll basically mold into this. What was the is it surreal to think of the reception you as the crew was able to see when it comes to Pretty Kitty? How many people loved it and again awarded it for being such an impressive film?
Oh yeah, it was an odd experience.
I think each of us have at least gone to one con it was at least accepted into.
Yeah. Asher came with me to Spooky Empire. Sierra came with me to Horror Hound. Emma, I didn't get to go with you, but you were Emma, before I talk about my experience with seeing it win an award, Emma, what was your experience when they gave you? Because Emma attended. What was it? Bleedingham, right?
Yeah, Bleedingham.
And what was the experience
Bleedingham
like for you when it won?
Yeah, it was my first time going to a film festival, and it was a really nice environment to be in, with other film creators, horror film creators specifically, and then going through the awards, and then actually hearing something I worked on being listed, and I was like, huh? What?
Yeah.
I pulled the classic you pointing at yourself huh? You talking to me? But yeah, going up and receiving the award, and I still have it in all my belongings. It is I have it on display. It's a cool little thing. But seeing the reception in both person at the film festival and then in online spaces, it's been very motivating to continue working on art. I like that.
Good, good. And Sierra and Asher, I don't know if you guys want to add on when it came to that, when it comes to how the reception has been for you guys.
So it was really cool to see it at Horror Hound.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't win any awards at Horror Hound, but it was such a great experience that we got selected for Horror Hound.
We got to meet
Because-
the Terrifier people. That was cool.
Yeah, we got to meet the cast of Terrifier.
Oh,
from
that's
going there
incredible.
because they were promoting Terrifier 3 there, and the other people who actually won awards and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, no, we can understand why we didn't get anything because everything was so much longer, and like you can tell like the amount of effort that all the other filmmakers put into their craft, and it's like, yeah, like none of the we were in the micro shorts blocks,
Right.
none of the micro shorts got anything, but
Oh.
to be when you're going up against a lot of films that are like over an hour long, yeah.
No, trust me. I've been to several film festivals as well, and I know what it's like to see, like, you know, certain X kind of films versus X kind of films, like, you know, different blocks and how they sort of pierce out or whatnot. It's like you can understand why certain films are recognized and beloved, but still, regardless, at the end of the day, especially for what you guys have put out there, to see people still watch it, maybe they've never seen it before, and to get that reaction like live in person is always special. It always is.
Well, yeah, no, it was fun still going and seeing it being shown live. So I think after we showed it live, we then went around the con and showed it to more people. Because they put us in such an early block that the general public wasn't in yet, in the building yet, when our film was shown.
Goodness.
But it was cool to witness.
Goodness.
I made some.
No,
really
it's
good
cool to
friends.
witness though.
We met that one guy who was a director. He still follows me. He's a big fan of Pretty Kitty. I think he bought merch actually because he loved it. The most bizarre thing.
I'm sorry, I heard you saying this. Like, he still follows me. My thought is like he's now living it under my bed. He's a very nice person.
I think the most wild moment was actually the first fest Kitty premiered in, and that fest was NJ HorrorCon. And at NJ HorrorCon, there was this nice little horror convention tacked onto a film fest, and there were a lot of nominees, and Kitty was up for 2 awards, Best Director and Best Screenplay. And there were a lot of really good films for Best Director. I remember seeing them all. Like, I watched them, and there was this one about these evil Girl Scouts, which was really fun watch. Like, professionally made, like really professionally made. And it was. I remember sitting there and like, ooh, I think this one's gonna win and this one's gonna win. Like, I was placing all my bets. Like, and then when they said Best Director, Pretty Kitty, I'm like, what? Because this is the first film. Like, if you don't count Eviction Day, this is the first fully original film. I was like, so I go up there with my little puppet, and I'm like, I look like somebody had just like died in front of me, and I'm like, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, goodness.
And then I sat down. Winner for Best Screenplay. Now, Kitty doesn't even have a screenplay. There's no way. Pretty Kitty. What? And I'm walking up there as they hand me the awards, which the trophies look beautiful. They're like these. They're in the shape of New Jersey, all bloody and with a skull in it. They're handmade. They make them every year. But it was like, nice. I'm sitting there with my 2 awards, my little puppet, and the whole crowd is chanting, "Puppet speech! Puppet speech!"
Puppet speech.
So I give the little award speech in like Pretty Kitty's voice, like, "Hi everyone, thank you for the award." I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like gobsmacked. I'm like, everyone's congratulating me, and usually like people who work in the biz, and I'm like, oh.
You were shell shocked, bro.
I was. So like, I've been there, witness to when it won a few awards. We won Grindhouse. That was fun. People loved me there. We also won Hang On to Your Shorts for best student. We won Best Student a lot. We won Best Animation at Buried Alive. I wasn't there to receive it, but Sai was there to receive it. Sai was the person who did the illustration of Kitty sewn into the suit. That took like 2 weeks to draw. Like, I remember Sai grinding at them, like, no, it needs more. Be glad we went with the version. There was a version with his intestines out. We decided
Oh.
not to use that one. It was too much.
You
We
know,
thought,
I-
that's a little too much. You guys remember that version?
With Casey with their guts out.
Yeah, when
vaguely.
they have their guts out, and I'm like, this might be too much.
Didn't get past the script phase.
We wound that one back in.
That was the first time I said, you know what, that might be a little too much. Let's dial it back.
Yeah,
There
that
you
was us dialing back Corey a bit
You
more.
never hear that from Corey.
I said no to that. I was the one who said no to that.
I know that's why I'm saying it was so out there that even you said no.
Looking through the questions, I'm noticing a very prevalent question that I think we need to address right now, because we talked a lot about the project itself. We haven't talked this much about Casey, and there's a couple that I definitely need to ask that. I think the first one we need to address right here, right off the bat, because a lot of people are asking this: why is Casey blue?
I'm not joking. You know that meme about they're blue because the curtains are blue because the author wanted to represent sadness?
Yep.
Anyway.
It is quite literally that.
It's
Yep.
that.
They're blue because they're depressed.
Well, also, so Kitty is. I wish Forrest was here, but when making Kitty, I wanted to have this very sharp contrast between this really fun, happy world, and then the real world, which is dreary. Because in Casey's mind, this job and like Pretty Kitty Land, like the fun, happy world, and then Casey is blue, and it contrasts with the pink of Kitty. I wanted these characters to look very stark against each other. I also think that just having a non-existent like skin color makes it more relatable to just more people, I feel. Because I feel like anyone can relate to Casey regardless of like who they are, and I think that's a lot of reasons. I've listened to a lot of documentaries about that's a lot of reasons why artists sometimes choose like impossible skin tones, because it makes the character a bit more relatable.
Right.
Anyone can kind of slide into their shoes, and I think that's just a lot of people I've gotten a lot of comments about people relating to Casey. And I think that kind of helps. Was anyone else involved in Casey's design process? I know
I
Forrest
gave
was.
the suggestion for the hair.
You did.
I mostly did help with Kitty, not Casey much.
Yeah, so that's why Casey's blue. Casey's just sad because they lost their job, and they love that job a lot.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that does honestly lead to another question that I saw earlier in the chat from Danny B Existing, I believe was the username or whatnot. What exactly is Casey's deal? As they wrote it, because I cannot imagine a sane person who gets joy out of performing in a sweaty, heavy costume. And I will say, as someone that in college actually worked as a mascot for a year, I feel that same sentiment, because the costume that I had, it wasn't even a full-on costume. It was just the headgear that was like really stuffy to wear more than anything else. I cannot imagine most people, at least, finding joy out of, performing in a heavy, sweaty costume.
Have you not met the furry community?
You know what? Yeah,
It's more than that,
Well,
though.
there we
It's
go.
more than that. I'm about to get. Am I allowed to get personal, guys? Am I allowed to get personal?
Yeah.
It depends. Like, how much do you want to
I'm gonna tell a personal story, and this was kind of what led into me making Pretty Kitty.
Okay.
In 2017, I attended an anime convention. This was when I had made my I make TV head cosplays. I've been making TV head cosplays for about 7 years. It's just a little hobby I have. I have like one of Yes Man, one of Tenna. I've made Neon J. I've made a lot, but this was my first time wearing one. And not only that, but I'm going to disclaimer that Pretty Kitty was not intended to be a trans allegory, but I'm just going to disclaim that before I begin. So, this was my first time dressing up as a masculine presenting character, and I was really, really worried about it. I thought people would hate me. I remember putting on my head, my TV head, and like I'm in a suit, and this character would eventually become CRT in the future. For those who follow me, please stay tuned. And I walked into the convention center. I was shaking. I was like, oh my god, what if people hate me? What if people think I'm the worst? And the first thing someone says to me is, "You, sir, look amazing." I felt really fucking good. And everyone treated me very nicely. Everyone treated me very different. People loved me. I'm wearing this big TV on my head, and people treated me differently. They loved being me. They wanted to be around me. They wanted to, like, hang out with me. And, like, I've been socially anxious up until this point, and people loved it. It was euphoria the whole weekend. But then the weekend ended, and I had to take it off. And I had to do it again. So I remember, like, looking at every con in the area. I gotta do this. And for, like, a whole year, I was utterly addicted to playing this character. I remember going outside and hating, like, everything. And I still do kind of struggle with it now, of just, like, you know, being this character. And those feelings are kind of what manifested into Casey's struggle with Pretty Kitty. Like, they are playing this character, this job that gives them joy, a break. It's a break from, it's like working at Disneyland, like, it's a break from reality. Everybody loves you. Everyone wants to, like, oh my god, it's Pretty Kitty! And everyone loves you. You make people smile, you make people's day, and now, but when the head comes off, you're just a nobody again. And no one cares about you. No one's gonna go up to you. You're just another, I remember, one day I had the head off, and, like, no one would come up to me and go, oh my god, you look so awesome. And it was this disorienting feeling of, like, huh. And that struggle really inspired, like, Casey's whole struggle of just, like, it's more than just, it's like, it's the job that they love, it's the character that they play, it's a lot of things, and having that suddenly taken away, and now it's like, well, what do I do now? I'm now going into a field where I'm going to be just another person, just a number, just a thing. And that's what ultimately causes the stress, I guess, that causes the eventual breakdown. So the story is, I mean, all stories are personal to the person that makes them. You self-insert yourself into every story that you create. That's just how you make stories. Pete Docter, the monster guy who wrote Monsters, Inc., always says, write what you know. So I simply did that. I write what I knew. I took this feeling of, you know, I had that image. How did we get there? So I scooped up these personal feelings and shoved them in this box, this gore candy-colored box, and said, look at my movie! And then some people agreed to work on it. So yeah, that's the deeply personal story. That's the story of Corey and why Casey is the way they are. There's also a mascot performer in the chat who says, yeah. I've had a few people who, like, related to the struggle a bit.
Oh yeah, no, I think we all have that kind of, for some of us, especially those that interact with a lot of people, I guess some of us have that kind of, like, what's the word I'm trying to look for? That sense of, like, acceptance whenever you're putting on something or when you're out there or whatnot, more than anything else. And I can understand why for you, Corey, it was a little bit more of a personal. Obviously, it was amplified to a level that I imagine you probably wouldn't interact into, because last time I checked, I haven't seen you try to. I
haven't shown myself on TV yet. Not yet.
Yep, not yet.
Let's
I know
keep
you're
that way. Let's keep that way.
I know you're trying to work on that technology, but let's
we don't
leave
have
that
the
for another
technology,
day.
not yet. Maybe one day.
But I appreciate how much you were able to make this personal story more of a relatable one for you know, maybe other people to get that same sense, that same feeling. Exactly. Speaking of struggle, that does also lead to a question that I saw in the chat as well. I saw a couple people asking, you know, now that this, you know, job is out of the way more than anything else, you're getting yourself out there. What is a job you would each want, I guess, at this point? You know, getting your, you know, name out there and such.
Wants to go first?
I talked a lot, so you guys go first.
I guess I can go. For me, I would like to continue my work in 2D, that or compositing. I really liked working with compositing, and being able to explore that more would be really nice. Aside from that, honestly, anything art related would be a much appreciated job to have. I got to do design for like about a year, But with a lot of jobs these days, it wasn't that stable, so sometimes you have to cut that loose.
No, that's fair. But hey, hopefully you get the opportunity to actually do that, because I can only imagine, especially with how much you got to work on some of those elements in this film or whatnot, being able to do that more on a daily basis would be heaven at the end of the day.
I hope so, because it was so much fun to work on Kitty. I would love
Yeah.
to be able to explore work like that again.
Absolutely. Sierra, what about yourself?
I would like to work on a full-time production doing 2D puppet rigs or something.
Mm-hmm.
That or doing cleanup animation, but it's hard to find things near me. I've been currently looking at like advertisement, but it's just there isn't a lot of stuff near me currently. Though I have been though applying for other things in my area. Currently, I've been just working at my local print shop, which has been paying decent,
Mm-hmm.
but would like to do something that actually puts my degree to use.
No, absolutely. No, trust me. I get that. Again, I get that a lot. Asher, how about yourself?
So, kind of similar to Sierra, I would like a job. I would love to get into the field to be able to use my degree. I'm currently working as an elementary school teacher in Guatemala, so made a big change there.
A major change, to put it mildly.
Yeah, just a little bit of a change, just a teeny tiny one. But I would love to get into the 3D technical side of things.
Mhm.
And again, I'm not a big horror person. I enjoy consuming adult animation. I don't love the idea of working on it as much. I
Right.
much prefer like kids animation, thinking more along like the Bluey kind of thing.
Valid.
So I'm hoping to get in with someone that does more of the kids, possibly even educational content,
Okay.
to be technical animation.
That would be honestly, yeah. No, I can easily see, especially with how you felt about working on this film, more or less. I can completely understand why.
Same with Asher. I would like to do kids content more.
Okay. That's
I,
again.
I'm not sure. I would love to find like maybe something for like working for like PBS or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of their 2D shows are 2D puppet rigs, so
Right.
that'd be great if something like that opens up. But
No, that is extremely valid. Seeing how, again, the field is very unique at this point. And then Corey, what about yourself?
Glitch Productions.
Valid. That is a mood and a half.
That would be the dream, huh?
I've been. I mean, I haven't been to everyone's shock. I've never actually worked in the industry before. Right now, it's just borderline impossible to get in. I think I know I've hit at least 1,000 job applications. I literally wake up and I check LinkedIn and I check Google Sheets for jobs, and I'm like, please. And then I check Glitch Productions website, and it's like, they don't got anything I'm qualified for. And then I check Adult Swim's site, they don't got anything I'm qualified for. I did try applying as a compositor to work on The Amazing World of Gumball, but due to me not being a citizen of Europe, they said they loved my work, but they couldn't take me because I wasn't European, unfortunately. So I at this point, it's kind of like the first person who just wants to give me a chance. I work freelance now. I've worked with a lot of big YouTubers. I've worked with like Kitten Sneeze. I've worked with Rect. I've worked with Scott Falco. But these are just like gigs, so it's like they bring me on for one project. Good work, Corey. Here's the money, and then I gotta find a new project. And it's stressful because you always gotta find new work. I'm still working like freelance, but it's not enough to really do much. So I'm good working almost anywhere. right now, either doing animation, compositing, I do editing, I've made entire short films from the ground up. I will go anywhere except for rigging or anything technical. Asher can tell you the stories of how I got banned from doing that. I don't do like
Corey's not allowed to touch 3D rigs anymore.
Nope.
Oh.
He blows them up.
Huh?
Sure does.
They were the simplest rigs, and I would get the file back, and it would be boom.
Yeah, I'm not super good with rigging, but rigging is like people who do rigs. There's no one who likes rigging. They either hate it or they love it. Rigging is very difficult, very scary for Corey, but I just, at this point anywhere, I mean, I have Adult Swim and Glitch, like, written in red marker on, like, some sort of summoning board, like, because they just make
Going
stuff.
all
I
the
want
time.
Tyra's Glitch, we love you.
We love you, Glitch.
New Pilot awesome, but I'm doing my own thing. I mean, I know everyone's been mentioning him, but yes, I made Ace Posting, I made this, I'm working on my pilot, please stay tuned, very slowly. It's coming very slowly, because I'm still working on promoting Kitty. If no one hires me, I'm just gonna start making my own stuff more. I just need the funding to do that. In which case, you know, the funding, by purchasing merch, you give us the funding, or subscribing to the Patreon, you give us the funding, so maybe I can hire these guys before somebody else does, and we can. Now, Pretty Kitty was made with restrictions. Remember, we only had 3 minutes, and even we had to tone down some of the gore. So, I would love to make an even more messed up short film. Or screw it, and get them all on my pilot. And please stay tuned. It's also a psych horror thing. I'd like to just keep making stuff and just keep making more stuff and being invited to make up stuff and make stuff awesome. And I want to keep doing that until I die.
And if people are wondering where they could potentially, you know, get some of the stuff like the merch, if you go to literally the description of this little Q&A video, there is a link to the Etsy shop where you can buy some of the limited edition merch when it comes to Pretty Kitty, and get some of the incredible stuff and really support them and maybe help Corey hire these guys because they're doing incredible stuff.
Yeah, like, if no one hires them, I'll hire them and I'll give them money and maybe one day health insurance. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, or you can just check out the Patreon, Corey Beepington, or just buy our merch, because the merch does go, I do not pocket all of it, it goes to the whole team who makes it, so if you want to say a little thank you and get yourself a little trinket, please consider buying some merch. It was designed by the team, we have the art books, we have the poster, the art book is really cool, by the way, it's like 43 pages, and it's like some behind-the-scenes secret stuff. Like, there's a lot of just artwork that we will never post to the socials that will be locked in the art book forever, and a few funny forward jokes from me. There's also a bunch of pictures of us from the fun fair where I'm adorably censored out in every single image, and it's really funny. But please support the production. I request to be censored. I don't show my face, but yes, please support our future productions because indie animation is awesome, but the only way it can survive is with you and your support. So either tell your friends about the film or buy some merch, get something cool, support the team. I gotta plug the merch. Can I plug the other thing while I'm talking about the merch?
Yeah, you can absolutely plug the other thing while you're talking about the merch.
So we've been getting it a lot. Corey, will there be a Pretty Kitty plushie? Well, I got good news for you. Yes. I have talked to Makeship. There will be a Pretty Kitty plushie. We are working on some stuff. When it is ready to go, it will be ready to go, but we will need you guys, your support to make it a reality. So, yeah, Pretty Kitty plushie is happening, and we have a really cool design for it. Sai, who unfortunately couldn't be there, gave the design for it, and it's really unique and really cute what we're doing with the plushie. So when it does launch, I hope you guys like it. But yes, just support us financially, and we can make more cool shit. TLDR. We don't need jobs. We'll make our own job. We'll make our own jobs with cats and copious amounts of gore. We can do that nowadays.
Yeah.
Support indie. Anyway, that's my spiel.
Gore.
Share it with me, team. Gore. You guys don't seem enthusiastic about this, okay?
So, one thing I've noticed in the chat is a lot of people don't know if Casey is spelled with a K or a C. It's spelled with a K.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because KC, like kitty cat.
Yeah, I was gonna say Casey, Kitty, Casey.
Close enough, and it sounds like kitty cat. So yay!
I did see I did see one question in the chat that I wanted to ask. I gotta find it real quickly, or when is that it right there? It is from I'm gonna butcher this last name. Luz Magallanes, I think, or Magallanes, something along the lines of that. Is Pretty Kitty's real name Prettiest Cool Kitten?
Prettiest cool kitten. You know what? Sure, that's canon now. Prettiest cool kitten.
It's
that's
canon,
it.
folks.
It's canon. It's canon. Tell MatPat it's canon.
Tell Matt that it's canon.
I still can't believe we showed up on Spooky Series Sunday. Like, that was insane.
Hey, that goes back to the whole entire reception aspect. The fact that a person like Corey X Genshin, or Keshin, the fact that he even noticed and showcased and highlighted that stuff to you guys has to be another like mind blown moment.
When
Definitely.
when I got the email, Corey is very awesome and respectful of the arts, and actually sent me an email asking for permission. I thought it was fake.
Oh.
I thought it was fake. I'm like, this is because I've heard of copycats, so I thought like they wanted something out of it. I didn't know, but I'm like, you know what? Sure, they weren't asking for like the rights to Kitty or my soul or whatever. They were like, yeah, can I show it? And then I was like sitting eating some cheese and some yogurt, and then my phone starts blowing up. I'm like, what? It's like Corey just put you Kitty and Spooky Series. I'm like, what? My jaw was on the freaking floor. It was crazy. It was freaking crazy.
I'm surprised we made the thumbnail.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
made the
well-
thumbnail. Like, that's crazy, and that's there forever. Like, I'm glad. I hope it brought more people to the work of this team. Like, I'm so big on this team. I'm like, okay, 4 million people saw us. Someone's got to say yes to us eventually.
My younger brother, I was visiting my family, and he barged into the room that I was in, and he was like, "Emma, do you know Corey Kenshin?" I'm like, "Yeah, what up?" And he's like, "You're on his channel," and I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Really?" And then sure enough, he showed me, and I was like, "Dude, this is awesome. What do you mean? What do you mean this is real life?"
That was like, I think that was just the highlight. I'm also seeing people in the chat like, will there be more Pretty Kitty? Unfortunately, there's not. I've been told like, are you gonna make this a game? Or are you gonna make this thing? There's not really much we can do with the story, personally. It was kind of a one-off.
We told the story we wanted to tell, and that's kind of what we're just doing.
But we will not stop you, chat. Like I said
Yeah.
earlier in this stream, art is transformative. Art inspires, and art makes people make cool things. Remember, 50 Shades of Grey exists because of Twilight.
Yep.
So, we're not gonna stop you from interpreting the work as you wish, just as long as you don't try to, like, make money off it. Like, as I said, I like keeping the ending open-ended because I'd like to see what people did with it. There's not really much I can do with the story. It's a guy had this job, lost the job, had a little bit of a meltdown, and that's the story. There's nothing really to do. So make your own headcanons, make your own ending, make your own thing. If someone makes a Pretty Kitty fursuit, I will lose my shit. That would be insane.
That's your challenge, chat. Make that happen.
Someone make a Pretty Kitty fursuit. I do attend FurryCon sometimes, so like they're really fun. If I see a Pretty Kitty fursuit, I'm gonna start crying, like tears of joy. But there's not much we can do with the story. So chat, it's up to you. People said, I wish there was a fan base for this. That's up to you, because I have no more ideas. I have other things to make, and if I don't keep making Ace posting, apparently the FBI is gonna come for me or something. But I hope you guys enjoyed the film. We'd like to make more stuff. with less restrictions. Buy our merch.
Buy the merch.
But yeah, Kitty's a one-off. We hope you like the film.
I was gonna say, do we have time for maybe one more question, or do we want to start wrapping this thing up? That's up to you guys.
Do you want to do one more,
Let's do
friends?
one more.
Okay, one more. Pick the best one.
One more. Okay, I need one more question, chat, and I need the best question possible. So come on, guys, I believe in you.
Someone in the chat type sweats. I swear, if you're making a fursuit, please send me pictures. I really want to see it. Just a reminder to everybody in the chat. If I send pretty much every single like Pretty Kitty related thing to the team, like I freak out. Like, someone made an edit. Someone made a fan art. You can just tag me and I'll probably see it. While I might not be able to comment on it all the time, I will definitely take it, share it with the team, and have a little, oh my god, they did this! Like, someone made an OC today, and that was like, yo, they're making OCs.
We have seen so much of y'all's work, and it has been beautiful to see what kind of concepts and creations you make. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, like, I've seen it all. I've seen the edits. Somebody asked in the chat, can I make a YouTube poop? Yes, please. If someone makes a YouTube poop, I would be so happy. YouTube poops were, like, my sense of humor growing up, so, like, that
would be the greatest, compliment known to man.
If someone makes a YouTube poop, or even better, a YTP MV, I love YTP MVs. I listen to them while I work. If you make a YTP MV, I might put it on my work playlist. I listen to Kick Gun Disco, like, on a daily basis. I love Kick Gun Disco. I love you, Kitchen Gun.
Hey, Corey.
Yo.
I see 2 questions in the chat. One of them is, why does it take place in 2004?
Yep, that's a good one from Eames the Nerd.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one by Avocado Toast is, what was something you were forced to cut from the film? So
I'm glad you asked that one, because that was the one I was going to ask next. What was the thing? Because I know you had mentioned there was some gore stuff that you guys had to tone down. So I was also curious.
Actually, we didn't have to tone down the gore. Our professor kept on saying, "You can make it gorier."
Oh.
Well, we had the guts that we did.
Yeah, that was like one thing we were like.
Yeah, but that was before we even brought it to the professor.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually know one thing we did cut out. Originally, with all the scenes we put Casey through, they're all some sort of like amusement park ride or theme. It's like a stage, a roller coaster. One thing we did end up cutting out was we were gonna have a crane game where Kitty was controlling the crane and picking up different plushies, and Casey was in the crane game machine. And that was a concept we ended up scrapping just because we didn't have enough time to make the assets and fully bring that idea to life. But I do wish we got to explore that, but that was one thing we had to cut.
I mean, I think that's. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has anything else they want to add to that, but I think seeing the little crane scene or what would have been an interesting.
We have it in boards. It never left
outboard.
boards. Because we only had 3 minutes and that scene was taking too long, and I don't know. I think it was like we couldn't really make a fun prop for it, and it didn't really say. Each little scene kind of says something either about Casey's character or the state of the park. If I were to go back and redo Pretty Kitty, but we had no restrictions, I would make it much longer. Actually, fun fact, in the original story that I wrote for class, most of the experience took place on an It's a Small World type ride, but they would be riding down a path, and like all the memories were kind of there, and then everything like caught fire, and they'd start falling down into like. And then mid-fall, Casey rips off Kitty's head, which begins the last sequence. Actually, here's the best Lost Media fact. Pretty Kitty was supposed to be a musical.
Really?
I wanted it to be a musical, but I just had no idea how it would work. Like, I wanted the whole sequence from Kitty to show up to Casey to be a musical, but the problem is making a musical is really hard, and we really didn't have anyone we knew who had musical experience. So, I mean, I know Wrecked now. If it was back and I knew Wrecked then, I'd be like, hey Wrecked, do you want to help us make something screwed up? But yeah, it was going to be a musical. I originally envisioned this film as a musical, but it just never came to fruition, and yeah, that was funny.
I think that would
still made some of the best music for a film, though.
Someone make a fan song.
I was gonna say, yeah, Avocado Toast. I would agree that fan content right there for Pretty Kitty the musical. That we're gonna leave that to the audience. You guys make that a reality because that would be absolutely
We've
incredible.
given you some stuff. You guys can do what you want with it. Just don't try to make money off it, and we're good.
And then for
also-
the other question of why it was 2004,
Yes.
we sort of came up when we were making the calendar asset
Mhm.
that's in the office, in the nightmare office scene, and I'm like, oh, we should have it be like in the early 2000s that this takes place, because it seemed like something that would happen in the early 2000s.
We first debated like the 90s or something, I think, but then
We needed a phone.
Even like, yeah, we needed the phone scene, and then we also debated like later, like a later 2000s, but then we realized like some of our assets were kind of outdated compared to like that time period, so we're like, just early 2000s.
It also keeps the nostalgia
Mhm.
theme. Like, Kitty is all about just
Yeah.
nostalgia poisoning and just, like, this... I mean, I grew up in the early 2000s, and I'm very nostalgic from that time. And I think
Right.
also with how fast technology is going, I feel like all the clunky... Because we have tech in our movie, and when you put tech in a movie, you have to be really careful what tech you put in the movie, because tech will date your film. So I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
taking tech from an era that this tech is never coming back, like the CRT TV and the clunky phone, the clunky little flip phone.
Flip
that Casey
phone with
has.
the antenna.
Yeah, I love the flip phone with the antenna. So, like, I think that just kind of dates it to a time that was relatable, but not like too forgotten. But you know, it's a period piece, sort of, and that's why I chose the early 2000s specifically, just for that nostalgia thing. That's also around when that park closed to the flesh-eating virus.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That too. A lot of reasons why.
Out of
The early
context, that
2000s
last
were
thing was-
unrolling. Shit
Yeah.
happened.
Oh no. Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Flesh-eating virus.
Yeah, but flesh-eating virus. I think that's a great way for us to kind of
was the
end
original
with the
motive.
questions. No, I know. We've established this already, Corey. No, but I think with that, I think that's all the questions we're probably gonna be taking for today. Actually, you know what? There is one more question that I wanted to ask you guys. When this is all said and done, obviously. Do you guys feel pretty like Kitty?
Yeah.
So where'd you go?
I don't think that question was liked. I think that's a bad one.
That was...
You know,
Corey,
that was funny, except I forgot that my stream is running, and, like, I didn't disappear, so the whole window disappeared. Please stop, please. I don't feel pretty like Kitty. I lost so much sleep working in this movie. Every day. No, let me tell you the worst part. So, I had made a oh, there's a failed to start camera. Well, that's just all they're gonna see. I don't have a camera. So, to promote the film, I had made a giant 5-foot cutout of Kitty.
Oh.
And I would carry this cutout to and from class every single day.
I helped you make it.
Now the problem is that my dorm room was really small, so the only place to put Kitty was right across from my bed.
Oh.
So whenever I woke up in the middle of the night, I would be face to face with this stupid ass cat. When I woke up in the morning, it was the first thing I'd see as like a reminder, like, hey Corey, I know you want to be playing the new game right now, but you gotta make Pretty Kitty. I know you want to be working on something else right now, but you gotta make Pretty Kitty. It was a sickening reminder. I'd be getting up, going to the animation hall, and being there till 4 in the morning to slug myself back, go to bed, see Kitty. Ugh! At the end of the year, we took the, cutout, and we gave it to our professor, actually. We all signed it, and we did
Okay.
it a farewell. And then the school removed it and threw it away!
Oh, that's
Thanks,
ridiculous.
guys.
It was in his cubicle, and he told us that he came into class one day and, well, came into the office one day where all the professors are, and it was missing.
Apparently, the school's
No.
equivalent of an HOA said it wasn't school appropriate. We got
I guess
30K,
it's
almost
showing favorites
30K
or
views on
whatever.
YouTube.
That's-
I hope you're regretting that now. You could have brought it. You could have turned it into join our school. We're already over enrolling people, but we can do a few more. I'm mad.
Jesus.
I'm fuming about. I'm fuming about that. Actually, to be real with you.
Are we allowed to talk trash on SCAD? Is
No,
that
no,
something
no.
we're
Let's
allowed
not
to
say
do?
our school. Let's not.
Talk
no,
about
no.
I'm gonna take this as a no. I'm gonna take this as a no.
Look, chat,
I'm gonna take
look,
this as a
chat.
no.
Subway Surfers gameplay. Oh,
Subway Surfers.
oh.
The
Jingle
dangling
keys, jingle
keys.
keys.
Woo! Subway Surfers gameplay. Whoa!
Wee, yay.
Subway Surfer away.
I finally got to use them. I got to use the Subway Surfers gameplay.
There
Okay.
you go. But I think with that, like I said, unless there's anything else you guys want to mention before we sign off, I think that's all the questions we're going to be taking for today. And I think this was a absolutely wonderful, fun chat to hear more about the behind the scenes of such a very well done, like, student film. Like, sincerely, I know I say this and it may seem like I'm just saying it because I'm brought on here as like the guest host or whatnot, but genuinely, like, I remember whenever I first watched Pretty Kitty on the floor of MomoCon on a dinky little laptop, like, watching it, I was absolutely shaking with like how good this was. Like, I was absolutely amazed with how good of a film this guy's was. So sincerely, congratulations to each and every one of you guys for being able to do this, and for a lot of people in this world to actually like warm up to it, love it so much, and want to do more with it. And I sincerely hope that this gives you guys more opportunities to do more incredible stuff. Seriously.
Thank you.
Someone donated $2 to say, saw any theories online? It's people haven't actually made Pretty Kitty theories, but I think there's not that much to theorize on it. It's just a story, and whatever interpretation you walk away with. I mean, I have my reason for making it, but I like hearing what other people have to say. So make your own content. I
Yeah.
don't care. But yeah, that's
That's the story of Pretty Kitty.
that's
That's the story.
Thanks for coming out today.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you,
thank-
everybody. And obviously, I have to say a big gracious thanks to our host, Post. Post, if you want to talk a little about your podcast for just a sec, because you're here, and I want to make sure that people subscribe.
No, absolutely. I appreciate once
You're
again you
talking
giving me
about
the
us, so-
opportunity to do this. Yeah, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do this in the first place. For those who don't know, my name is Nathan Ragland. You can also call me Post. I am host of the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserved. I have interviewed several incredible guests of all different walks of life when it comes to art, what got them interested in the art they've been able to produce, what they hope to accomplish and such. I've had incredible guests such as Corey, the one that you guys came here to see in the first place. So I hope you guys have at least seen his episode from me beforehand if you'd heard of me before. If this is something that sounds interesting to you guys and you want to see more or show some more support, you can go to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can find any podcast. Just look up Postmodern Art Podcast, like you see on the screen for my little name right there. Or if you want to see me on the socials, I am on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, most social media platforms at Postmod Art Pod. I love being able to show that love back to the artists and showing that love and appreciation for the incredible stuff that they're doing. So I hope if that's something that interests you guys, you'll be more than happy to join me along this fun little journey that I've been doing for 5 years now. I recently just celebrated the 5-year anniversary of the podcast. So there you go.
Woo!
Congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah, baby.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Subscribe to Postmodern Art Podcast. You can say some other cool guests you've interviewed, Post.
Well, I mean, you know, you could say that I've had some interesting guests. You know, like for example, Will Wood, Maxwell Adams, Asher Roth, The Odd Ones Out, Senior Apelo. You know, just to name a few off the back of my hand. You know, several people that have done incredible indie animated projects and such. Kevin Temmer, who works with Glitch Productions. You know, Dave Capdeville, Ashley Nichols. Just to name a few.
Yes, Post is
What?
super cool.
This is incredible. Everybody go listen to this now.
Yep,
Right now.
But I think
Immediately.
that's gonna do it, guys. You can find the merch in the description if you want to support us and support more of our work. You can watch the film wherever it's free, and you can make your own content, please. And if you make your own content, you can tag either the Pretty Kitty Twitter, the Pretty Kitty Insta, or just tag me and I'll probably see it. But make your own thing. That's the lesson here is you can make your own thing. Even if it's really messed up, you can make your own thing. I mean, I made some stuff. A lot of stuff. But
Yeah.
make your own thing, and if you make any cool content, let us know, because we will probably all obsess over it like crazy. I think that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you all for coming, and have a pretty kitty day. Say bye, everyone.
Have a pretty kitty day. Bye bye.
Have a pretty kitty day.
Bye.